Hello. So for this folder, folder 2 of the Epic of Gilgamesh module, we're going to be working with the myth section of the epic, which is roughly tablets 5 through 8. So we're going to work through the first quest that Gilgamesh and Enkidu go on together, which is the quest to the Cedar Forest to kill the monster Humbaba. And then from there, we'll work through the death of Enkidu. All right, so as this first slide says, you'll need your books to participate with the discussion that we're going to raise for these tablets of the epic. What I'm going to do is, as we work through this presentation, I'm going to ask you some very specific questions. In some cases, I will give spoilers here because I'll be discussing the answers or the possible answers to this. But then when you get to the assessment, which is the quiz that you will take afterwards, what I'm going to be looking for specifically is for you to be able to address the same questions that are raised in this presentation. All right, so let's move on to the next slide here. So tablet 5, what purpose does Enkidu serve in this particular quest? Now, of course, what is the quest in tablet 5? They are going into the Cedar Forest to kill Humbaba. Here are some pointers that I want you to think about as you consider your answer. All right. Whose idea was it to go on this quest? All right, so if you look at that section of the tablet, and this is going out of tablet 4 into tablet 5, this is all Gilgamesh's idea. He gets the idea that it would be something great for his record if he can slay this beast. Who is not, at least at the moment, not a particular or imminent threat to the people of Uruk. It's one of those things where potentially he could be a threat, but let's make an analogy here. Okay, this is like some little country, some little foreign country in the Middle East. Maybe this country has access to nuclear weapons. Maybe they don't. We don't really know. But let's say our leader, our president, just wants an excuse to invade that country because he needs to create a war. Maybe maybe he's facing re-election and he wants to stir something up to have a reason to be re-elected. Well, starting a war is sometimes a pretty good reason because the country is often reluctant to switch gears right in the middle of a major world conflict. Politicians do this all the time. It's a game that they understand well. And so what we've got here is kind of a similar situation where Gilgamesh gets the bright idea that this would be great for his name, for his reputation, if he can take out the monster. Enkidu tries to convince him that it's not such a great idea. As always, he's the voice of reason in this, but he still goes along and tries to help his friend. Well, actually, he does help his friend with this quest. In fact, he puts his life at great risk to help Gilgamesh defeat the monster Humbaba. All right, so I want you to consider what is Enkidu's role in this quest, and what is his role for Gilgamesh as a partner to Gilgamesh throughout the course of their journeys. At the beginning of Tablet 6, we see Gilgamesh performing a ritual. And it's a ritual that he will perform quite frequently throughout the epic, which is that he is often seen as washing, bathing, he's cleansing, he's taking a bath, he's putting on clean clothes, he's washing his hair. He's eliminating all of the dirt from the last journey and he's getting clean again. He's putting on his kingly diadem, as the epic says. I'm going to go ahead and tell you this much, which is this represents the idea of a baptism or cleansing. It's very much a biblical analogy here. And it goes back to something that Joseph Campbell said about the importance of ritual and initiation in the hero's journey. He's like that snake who sheds its skin. And I think that explains why the image has been used here of Gilgamesh and the snakes. He, like the snake, he literally sheds his skin as he evolves on his journey. So it is very much a rebirth, a baptism, a cleansing, and it's always preparing him for that next chapter that is to come. All right, Tablet 6, conflict between gods and mortals is a key element of many myths. Who becomes Gilgamesh's antagonist here in Tablet 6 and why? Well, this is where he has his great conflict with the goddess Ishtar. All right, so the questions that I'm going to ask you to discuss here. First of all, where does the bull of heaven come from? And please don't say it come from heaven. All right, we already know that. It's called the bull of heaven. But how does it get from heaven to earth? What precipitates that event? Who sends it? And why? I would like for you to quote some precise passages from the text to help support your answer to that question. And then also, here's another great epic battle that Gilgamesh and Enkidu undertake together to vanquish the goddess Ishtar. Now, what you learn from the text is Ishtar makes an advance on Gilgamesh. Call it a sexual advance, if you will. But she proposes marriage to him. And of course, that's just a kind of a euphemism of saying she wants to get with him sexually. And Gilgamesh turns her down because she has a reputation for she has a reputation for entrapping men and then abandoning them, turning them into various creatures, etc. So Gilgamesh says, I want nothing to do with that. Hence, of course, and I am giving some spoilers here, right? But this is where the bull of heaven comes in and that great epic battle, which does end with Enkidu and Gilgamesh defeating the goddess Ishtar. And they chop the bull into pieces. They quarter the bull. They toss the rump of the bull at the feet of Ishtar. But It also describes those great horns, those lapis lazuli horns of the bull of heaven that Gilgamesh dismembers from the head of the bull and then hangs over his master bedroom. So it would look very similar to this image that you see here, a very powerful symbol, because Gilgamesh is very threatened by female power and female sexuality. That's a running theme throughout the epic. So at least for now, Gilgamesh's idea is that he has won that battle. He has won the great battle of the sexes. He has conquered the female sex by conquering the great female goddess Ishtar. So this is a very potent masculine symbol for Gilgamesh when he hangs those horns over his master bed. Now, you can imagine the girls that he rapes, the young brides that he takes from their grooms and demands that they be brought to his bedroom on their wedding night. This is what they're being brought to. So Gilgamesh does use that as the ultimate symbol of his virility and his supposed defeat of the goddess Ishtar. All right, tablet 7. Who does Enkidu curse and why? I want you to be able to give me that passage where that occurs. And why does he lay that curse on? I'm sorry, I'm little slip up there. But who does he lay that curse on? And then give me the passage that explains that. And then why does he take it back? He lays the curse on pretty hot and heavy, and then ultimately, however, he takes it back. Why does he do that? And then I want you to explain to me the meaning of Enkidu's dream before he passes away. He does die in this tablet. And of course, much to Gilgamesh's grief. And this is going to be the impetus that spurns Gilgamesh on to his greatest quest, which is that quest for immortality. But there's a very prophetic dream that is explained in that tablet. The page numbers here are for the older edition, so they may not be accurate for the current edition of the book, just to let you know that. But that will be in tablet 7. All right, so I'm going to turn this over to you, and I want you in the quiz that follows to apply your responses to the questions that we have raised in this presentation. All right, and then I will see you in folder 3. Bye-bye.